All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let me go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and get started. Peace and power and elevation be to all you beautiful people out there. This your girl Tiffany coming through here live in the fade. Live in the fade. And I just want to thank everybody that has been subscribed to my channel. I'm up to 600 subscribers. Thank you for those of you that have been supporting me from the very beginning. Thank you guys for coming through. So I want you guys to continue to like and share this channel and hit the notification bell whenever I come on. Okay. So I just want to go ahead and get started with this video. But before I get started, I want to address something. Now I will address it at the end. Never mind. All right, so let's go ahead and start with Rebecca Stiles Taylor. So she was a journalist, an educator, and an activist out of Savannah, Georgia. And with that being said, as I always mention, that it's important to know about the African in the diaspora and the work they have done inside of journalism, education, etc. So journalism is very important for us in our community because we got to know what's going on. We got to keep track of things that's happening around us in our environment. All right. So what I want to do is go ahead and get into some information about her. So now I couldn't put up much information. All right. I only could pull up what I could. Okay. All right. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead into the source. I want to go into Wikipedia. Then I'm going to use other sources that I have. All right. All righty then. Let's go. So Rebecca Stiles Taylor was born August 1879. And she died on December of 1958. And she was a journalist, social worker, educator from Savannah, Georgia. She was best known for her contribution to the community as the founder of several charitable outlets in the area and as an activist for women's and civil rights. Okay. So her alma mater was Atlanta University and Beach Institute. Okay. So Taylor received a considerable education, graduating from Beach Institute and Atlanta University, and later attended Hampton Institute and Columbia University. She started her journalistic work as a columnist for a local Savannah newspaper, where she was not afraid to speak out against the tense racial issues of the era. After many years of segregated schooling, the education she received at Atlanta University, a less racially biased institution of the time, was instrumental in her career and set her on the course for social activism. A cousin of Stiles Taylor's described the influence the university had on her. All right, so let me continue. They picked up the mission to educate everyone of color. They gave them a mission almost like a preacher in the pulpit or a missionary on his ship going to a foreign shore. They were to go back and they were to cleanse, protect, and educate the lesser of all the children in their cities and communities. Hug Golson, Forgotten Women, Part 7, Rebecca Stiles Taylor. All right, so her career from writer to teacher to social activist, Taylor was an ambitious and accomplished person. She was a well-known columnist for the Chicago Defender and one of very few women journalists for that newspaper, and her writing contribution led to her being nationally recognized. She often wrote on controversial topics such as racial segregation. In those columns about racial interaction and political affairs, she often referenced other accomplished writers like Mrs. Corbett Ashby Taylor also wrote a weekly column, Activities of Women's National Organization, during the wartime in order to keep the readers up to date about women's organization across the country. In addition to race relations, Taylor also spoke out for women's issues by writing in support of sound and equal marriages and the elevation of the Negro woman. Beyond her writings, Taylor is lauded for her effort to make positive social change, including education, civil rights, and public health. In 1917, she founded the Toussaint Louverture branch of American Red Cross. Additionally, Taylor served as a national leader of the National Association of Colored Women, Mary McLeod Bethune's chief aide. Furthermore, she led the Savannah chapter of the National Association of Colored Women's Club, which provided the means to open a nursing home, a home for girls, and 2 free health clinics. All right. Peace to Brother Centavo. Shout out to Brother Centavo. Thank you for coming through. Peace. She joined Mary McLeod Bethune to organize the entire southeastern region of the club in 1919, assuming the position of corresponding secretary and president of the Association Georgia State Federation. Taylor was passionate and active about the well-being of her people in her community and the nation as a whole. Earlier in her career, Taylor devoted much time to educating people in Savannah with limited opportunities. She achieved great success in these efforts. She was also the first African American woman to become Savannah's probation officer in juvenile court. Additionally, she wrote a letter to President Woodrow Wilson in reaction to a lynching. She cared deeply about reconciling race divides and took her concerns to the people of highest authority in an effort to make a change. Taylor's lifelong career of dedication to social, mental, and physical betterment of all people has led her into national recognition. Okay. It says her legacy. So Taylor inspired many of her willingness to take action towards furthering her social cause during a time when it was somewhat taboo to do so. She had a radical vision of social improvement for her time, saying that the South was on the threshold of a new era, and she dedicated her life towards spurring that on in a vast range of outlets from high school education to club organization. Taylor was an integrationist and advocated an alliance between Black women's organization with other national women's organization in order to eliminate social tension and create substantial future. Drawing from her efforts, the Stiles Taylor family remains a prominent figure of charitable works to this day, with many of her descendants serving as pastors, teachers, and charity group leaders in the Savannah community. To commemorate a lifetime of service and activism, Taylor was inducted into the Georgia Women of Achievement in 2014. So let's see what they have on the reference. So these are the reference at the bottom of the page. Savannah Tribune, Forgotten Women, Part 7. Okay. Noble Black Women by Jessie Carney Smith. And then there's a book called Double Victory, How African American Women Broke Race and Gender Barriers to Help Win World War II. To improve the race, eugenics as a strategy for racial upliftment. All right. Okay, so let's continue. And then there's also another one by Charles J. Elmore, Savannah, Georgia. Leslie M. Harris, Slavery and Freedom in Savannah University. And also Carl Cooper, Selling Negro Women to Negro Women and to the World, Rebecca Stiles, and the Chicago Defender. Hmm. All right. So that's that information. That's all I have on Rebecca Stiles. So I have some more stuff that you guys can check out that's similar that's related into this topic. So this book right here is called The Sacred Mission: Black Christian Nationalism in Age of Jim Crow. Worldly Ambition by Adele Altman. All right, so this book right here is related to the subject. You guys. Okay, it's called Sacred Mission: Black Christian Nationalism in the Age of Jim Crow, Worldly Ambition. Adele Altman. Right, let's go into the introduction. Oh, no. Okay, so let's look at down here what it says Civilization of Black Savannah. All right, so the change in first Africans cast of characters, especially in the choices, descendants, descendants made, and the direction of so many took out the church, argued the beginning of a larger cultural transformation. All right, argue the beginning of a larger cultural transformation, namely the secularization of Black Savannah. The diversion of sacred and secular worlds is laid bare through the discernible shifts in mainline Black Baptist church discipline during the 1930s. Okay, while individuals were still brought before deacons' boards for transgression church rules, discipline was far more sporadic. In 1930 was the last year on the record that the deacons at First African some members to answer to charge of denying the Baptist faith. Of 33 members brought before the General Conference at the Second Baptist between 1931 and 1942. Only one was expelled. Even Bishop Grace inspired little ardor in 1930s. In 1931, Sister Sarah de Crutcher was the only member on record who was summoned to appear before Second Baptist Church tribunal for attending Grace tent meetings. It turned out that in January 1928, the Crutcher had been dropped from the poor saints list for forsaking the church. In her defense, 3 years later, that her whole object for attending Bishop Grace Church was, if possible, to be cured, was accepted by a deacon board. She was not punished as might have been her destiny a few years earlier. In 1940s, Grace continued to draw thousands of curious spectators and followers to his parades, mass baptism, and service, including members of the city's mainline Black Baptist churches. Matthew Southall Brown, then a younger member of First African, who would grow up to become pastor of St. John Baptist Church, recalled attending the spectacular procession and ceremonies for the horns, the pomp, and the circumstances, and to see the reaction of the people. By then, there was no fear of ecclesiastical repercussion. All right, so this book gives an account of the history of Savannah, right, and the Black church during the Jim Crow era. Okay, so that's what this book is about. All right, now I want to go into this next one, and this is the last article here. Um, this one is called "Forgotten Women," Part 7. Rebecca Stiles Taylor, and this is updated. This was updated on July 17, 2020. Okay, so it says in the early 20th century, women weren't supposed to be loud or assertive. That was even more true for women of color. But that didn't stop Savannah teacher, writer, and organizer Rebecca Stiles Taylor. Here's her story as we focus on forgotten women in Savannah history. It's tough to assign a label or title to Rebecca Stiles Taylor. She had been a very successful teacher and social worker who had been in all of the Black neighborhoods of Savannah, said Huff Golson, a retired history teacher and a cousin of Stiles Taylor. And she had a statewide and national reach through her work with the National Association of Colored Women Club. She also founded several such clubs in Savannah and wrote for the popular national newspaper, the Chicago Defender. It's a lot for one person. Golson traced all that work back to what she learned at Atlanta University. They picked up the mission to educate everyone of color, he said. They gave them a mission almost like a preacher in the pulpit or a missionary on his ship going to foreign shore. They were to go back. They were to cleanse, protect, and educate the lesser of all children in their cities and communities. So by all accounts, Stiles Taylor was a woman on a mission. Mary Eda Stiles described her aunt in a video for the Georgia Women of Achievement program. She was talented. She was smart. She was aggressive, said Stiles. She knew what she wanted, and she knew how to get it, even if it did seem she was demanding and aggressive. What she wanted and how she got it ran the government. From working overtime to educate poor students to become the first African American woman to serve as Savannah's probation officer in juvenile court. In her newspaper column, she took early stands on big civil rights issues like segregation in the military and poll taxes. She even lobbied the president in 1918 after a lynching in Valdosta. It was pure savagery, said Golson, and these Black women of color are bristoling over this, and they sent a strong letter to President Wilson and her name in front and center at the bottom, Rebecca Stiles Taylor. Stiles was a prominent name in Georgia. President Wilson grew up in Augusta. Huff Golson believes her name caught the president's attention. He did write up a scathing rebuke in the Federal Register, which was probably a pretty strong step for this man who had segregated the bathrooms of federal agency when he took office, Golson says. Great niece Sandra Stiles Thomas said her aunt was known for that kind of gusty action. I remember Aunt Rebecca, and I remember how strong an image she was, Thomas recalled. A lot of people were afraid of Aunt Rebecca because she didn't play. So Rebecca Stiles Taylor died in 1958, but her family remains prominent in Savannah. Pastors, teachers, leaders of charity groups. Thomas says that in part thanks to Stiles Taylor, who she called an elder of the family. Aunt Rebecca was the milestone, she says, the person that kept the family together during her time. And Taylor says the person who instilled values of achievement and service in her family and community. All right. So that's all the information that was available. And this comes from gpb.org, which is PBS, part of PBS and NPR. All right. So gpb.org. And right here, this is a picture of Rebecca Stiles Taylor. That's a picture of her. And that's it. That's all I have. That's all I have as far as yeah, that's all I have as far as the information goes. So with that being said, I hope you guys take it easy on yourself, be safe, and I will reconnect with you all later. So I hope y'all just enjoy y'all day at work or enjoy your day off or whatever the case may be. Until next time, peace and power elevation be to all of you. This your girl Tiffany, and I'm logging off saying deuces. And for those of you that just came in, watched the video, you'll have to watch it from the very beginning. Thank you for your support. And peace to Brother Centavo and whoever else in the chat that I did not get the chance to see. Peace to y'all as well. All right, so y'all take it easy. And until next time, deuces. All right. Thank you. Oh yeah, I forgot. I wanted to address something. So before I close this out, someone said something to me that I thought was very interesting. A lady that happened to be a fan of a pseudo teacher, right? That teaching pseudo information about ancient Egypt being having an aircraft, which there is no proof that there was an aircraft in ancient Egypt during that time period, because people was not flying planes during that ancient time period. But let's continue on. So the lady said she pulled up my YouTube channel and put it in the comment section. She said, Tiffany, you're nobody. Tiffany French, you're nobody. You're not so much of a golden wisdom. And this goes to show you the mentality of people. See, people just go by popularity. Like who's the popular person and not the content that the person put out. Let me say that again. People going by what is popular and not the content that the person puts out. So I'm gonna put this on record. No, I'm not the most popular person. Guess what? I'm not looking for popularity. I just looking to put out content that would help others who may not know or who may not have access or know that they can gain access to information. Okay. So that's where I stand on that. So it's not about me trying to be popular. It's not about me trying to gain some type of name for myself. Okay. Because they're going to come in due time. So I ain't worried about that. But I am grateful for the subscribers that I do have. I am grateful for those who have been tuning in. No, I don't get a lot of views. And no, I don't get a lot of subscribers. All right. Because it don't take a whole lot to get a whole lot of subscribers. If you could put up something that can entertain people, then that's where people will tune in and watch. But for me, I don't have to do all of that. Okay. Every now and then I might put up some certain stuff and I might get a certain amount of views. And some views I don't get at all. And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. I can live with that. Okay. So, but if anybody feels the need that they want to debate me about a subject or something, just know this. I will interrogate you. I will interrogate you. I won't stop interrogating. I don't know everything. I don't have an answer to everything. But what I'm good at is asking questions. I will ask a whole lot of questions. So just know that if you ever decide that you want to try to debate me or get me on your platform, just know that I'm going to interrogate you and I'm going to find out some stuff and I'm going to interrogate the stuff that I have and the information that you have. I'm going to make you think. All right. But that's all I want to put out there. That's it. So anyways, you guys take it easy. Be safe. Until next time, peace and power elevation be to all of you. And it's your girl Tiffany. I'm logging out saying deuces. And if you watch the video, you don't have to watch the whole entire thing. You can watch the part that you feel that is most important or that you want to know. But other than that, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, that's fine with me as well. All right. Thank you. And make sure you subscribe and like the channel, share the channel, and all that great stuff. All right. Now I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.